Alright, this is going to be an Equinox video. Fall Equinox 2020. Let me just clock it on over to the exact my time. You'll have to set it to your time, but I'm going to put it 9 o'clock. I'm going to put it exactly Central Standard Time is what I'm doing. So it'll be at 9:31 a.m. tomorrow morning. Let me put this in the corner. This is the exact equinox. Oops, why are we not? There we go. And the equinox is occurring over here, Sun, in Virgo. 10 degrees of Virgo to be exact. Mercury conjunct Spica. Mercury exalted in Virgo. Spica, the undefended one. More importantly, what's going on this day is not even the sun. It's the fact that Jupiter is out of retrograde and is now advancing Saturn. That's two things are going down there. When Jupiter goes retrograde, it's actually a good thing because people think outside of the box. But when Jupiter's going forward, people think in a linear fashion. I call it tunnel vision. They can only see down one path. They don't have that expanded mind or option. You become very closed-minded in a Jupiter going forward. But Saturn is still retrograde for a few more days. Saturn's almost coming to a standstill. So right now, they're coming at each other. They're head-on. Saturn going retrograde and Jupiter going forward. So you have this conflict of Jupiter representing the church and ideology and Saturn representing the state or the government. Right now, in the age of Pisces, our governments are run by Jupiterians, not by Saturn. Let me just set that record straight right now. As a matter of fact, Jupiter rules the empires along with Mercury. It's the corporate empires is what we're dealing with here. It's corporate empires, which is all about commerce and the money, trade, Mercury. And Jupiter holds the ideology that glues all that together. And together they run empire on the mutable cross. That's the only time you see empire has a foothold is on the mutable cross. So our governments they're owned by the corporations. Back in the 80s when Reagan privatized everything, got rid of all the government regulations and he privatized a lot of things. And it seemed good at the time because we had an economic boom. But at the same time, it sabotaged the republic. It sabotaged the government and the people. Because now, what do we got? 40 years later, even your cities, your municipalities are now incorporated. That means the police departments, the court systems, your cities and your utilities are no longer for the people, by the people. They are for the corporations, by the corporations. But at the same time, they're seizing your tax dollars when they are corporate entities, which should be against the law. That's why when the shit hit the fan with me and I called the police, they didn't do anything because they don't work for the people anymore. Your municipalities now work they are corporations. They work for a profit, and there was no profit and standing between what was going on private property. I should have called the sheriff. Then I would have had action, but I didn't know any better at the time. So this is what we're dealing with here. And it's going to come to a head because Saturn's been chasing Jupiter back into his own house. Now Jupiter's going to turn around and make a run at Saturn. And this week, Saturn's going to stop and turn around and go the other way. And it's going to appear that Saturn is running from Jupiter. Not so. like I said in the previous video, it's a here kitty kitty thing. Now, the second thing that's going on is the moon. Because a few hours after this conjunction, after this perfect balance of day and night at 1800 hours, so that's going to be about 6:30 that evening, you're going to have the moon at 38.3% in the crotch of Ophiuchus. And this is where the Vaticans do their ritual. And the Vaticans, they serve Jupiter. All religions serve Jupiter in this age, by the way. I don't care which one it is. You may not know it. We still have a Mars retrograde on this same mutable cross in water. This water here, of Pisces, ruled by Jupiter, is going to aspect this water here with the moon that rules the water in Cancer. And this is Mars's house of water. So you have a Mars retrograde in water and the moon in water, but they're in each other's houses. So, and Venus is going to be in the water of Cancer. So we got our heart, our emotions and actions, and our reflections. And perfect wording when you talk about Jupiter and the way he uses the moon. It's a reflection. It's supposed to reflect the sun, right? But here it's going to be reflecting Mars and aspecting back to Jupiter's house and its own house of Cancer. So big Vatican ritual going down there, big Jupiterian ritual. And at the same time, remember, it appears that Saturn and Jupiter are running at each other, like two trains on one track coming at each other. That's the tension that's building right here in this dance. We've been watching this same dynamic here. I've been talking about this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction coming up and what it entails before it gets there. How crazy 2020 was going to be because of this energy right here between church and state. So it's going to be a doozy. Get ready. And Mercury exalted. So the corporations are going to make money. You might lose money. Everybody's suffering. They won't get that second stimulus package out. They don't care about the people. This is the bottom line to the investors and the stockholders. You don't count. Not in this age. You never did. It's about groupthink. And right now, the only group that has power to think is the corporate group in water world. So that's what we're dealing with this week. Now, Saturn going stationary, gonna ramp up. We are in a duality in this age. So we have to look at the two sides of everything. We all have two natures within us, and then our higher selves. We actually have three, but we're only accessing two of those in duality. We see everything in black and white, or good and bad. So Saturn, a lot of people see Saturn as negative, especially when you're looking at Saturn with Jupiter's glasses on, rose-colored glasses, right? You're looking at the world through one eye, and it can appear that way. But to me, I prefer Saturn over Jupiter any day of the week. Jupiter is lying, selfish, conniving, murderous. It's horrible, but he's all mercy and grace and criminal justice. No justice for the victim. Grace and mercy only for the criminals. There's no grace and mercy for the victim. This whole thing is ass backwards. And I'm pretty much tired of it. I don't mind discipline and restriction. And that's what Saturn offers. As Jupiter is expansion or empire, Saturn's about the opposite. Less is more. Smaller government, not bigger government, not empire. It's the same storyline as in Star Wars. It's the Empire against the Republic. And this time, the Republic wins. But they're still going to play this card right here. And I'm waiting on this ritual. They have to do a ritual where the hero dies. That's part of the storyline. That's what they're doing on all these rituals, is marking the grand celestial cross, the fourth cross, the invisible one in the heavens, that's marked by the 4 stars of the fixed cross, that comes in alignment with the equinoxes and the solstices. When the fixed cross finally enters that eastern gate of the spring equinox, with Aquarius in the spring, Leo in the fall, you will have Taurus in the summer and Scorpio in the winter. And they're marking those dates with these rituals, like they're trying to make it happen now. I don't really see their end game, how they plan on pulling this off, other than they're controlling the collective subconscious, because they're controlling the symbols. You can't, when you buy it, when you say you invent a product, you have to get a patent on it. Or if you don't have a patent, you have to register it. You have to register it to sell it. And to do that, you get a logo, you get a mark, you get a brand. And that's usually picked for you. You have to register that trademark logo. And all of those logos are sigils, they're magic sigils, they're spells. And they have to do with the zodiac signs and the elements, the crosses and the elements. It all comes from above, and they're perverting all of them. They do them backwards. They pervert them. And the collective subconscious of this age, that's depressed right now in retrograde, the whole collective is depressed. Everybody's tired of this political bullshit on both sides. They're tired of it. Many are suffering because of it. Luckily, I mean, I've gone through my shit just like everybody else, but I've had far worse times than I'm going through right now. So I'm kind of grateful that I do have the ability to just sit and watch this, and I'm not emotionally involved in it. I'm not on one side or the other, so I'm not emotionally invested into it. But those that are emotionally invested into it are becoming very irrational, very unstable, which is Mars on the mutable cross, and then depressed, suicidal, retrograde. And that's only going to get worse. And the conscious mind is just on fire. It needs to be purified. A lot of people's minds are just melting through it all. You got to become the phoenix out of the ashes then. Venus fixing to move into fire. Venus is going to move right into fire about the time it's going to aspect that fire of Saturn and Jupiter in Sagittarius, and that fire of Uranus and Aries. That's coming this week as well. But when Saturn's retrograde, so right now the gloves are off. You can do pretty much what you want and get away with it, especially with Jupiter handing out mercy and grace all over the place. But that's fixing to stop this week, and all hell's fixing to break loose. And Saturn's fixing to lay down the law, and not Jupiter's law, not Aries' law, not Pisces' law. It's the law of karma is coming. And we're all fixing to reap what we've sown. That I've been telling y'all for how long now? Bank that karma, you're going to need it. We have a statement in the New Testament that says, love covereth a multitude of sins. And again, that word love comes from a Greek word, Charity, we've been through this, it's a verb. It's something you do expecting nothing in return. Like open that door, smile, say thank you. If somebody drops their bag, help them pick it up. Don't be the stranger, be the good neighbor. And you will be rewarded. What you do secretly, expecting nothing in return, your heavenly Father will reward you openly. Think about that. Those are the dynamics we're fixing to be dealing with. And everybody's going to be looking for mercy and grace when Saturn lays down the law of equivalent exchange. But there's not going to be any. So you better be in right standing with the right one. Now, we've spent this entire age with the Jupiterians in control of the script, in control of the symbolism, and they have demonized Saturn to no end. And it's all a projection. Everything evil that is said about Saturn actually belongs to Jupiter. Saturn is the stern good parent that cares enough about you to offer you tough love and not just run amok and become an emotional wreck and not have you grow up with no responsibility. Today, the kids, they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to clean, they couldn't survive or care for themselves if they had to. They're emotional disasters all over the place. Used to, we would growing up, we called it, you hid your skeletons in the closet. Today, they drag them out in the middle of the street. It's called Twitter and Instagram and all that. That's dragging your bones and all that crap in your garbage right out into the street for everybody to see. It's really ridiculous. It really is. But if that's where you've built your house, it's all coming down. All of it. Saturn's fixing to lay down the law of equivalent exchange. Get ready for it. That's what 2020 is all about. And Saturn, Kabbalistically, he's been in control for 3 years now on a Kabbalistic level, for 36 years. So this marker, he has 33 years left in a Kabbalistic tradition, 20 years left in the what Catholicism does of the Saturn-Jupiter conjunctions. So, for the next generation and a half, Saturn is going to change everything. He's going to set it back right. We're told how Elijah comes to restore all things. That the Christ can't come till Elijah restores all things. But Mercury, that's the name of the game right now. In this upside down Cairo, it's about the money. It's all about the corporations. And they are making out like a bandit. All these little businesses that they're running out, they're going to go in there and buy all that up. Everybody that's moving out of New York, they want that. Because the bottom's going to fall out of the market and they're going to go in there and buy it all up. And that's how they play the game. This is all a big game that they've planned for a very, very long time. It's my belief they've done this before. That's why they know exactly what move to make. Because they've all done this before. And we all feel like we've done this before. My whole life, even though I feel like I've never been here before, I know the script. I've seen the movie. Or I've read the book and now I'm seeing the movie. And there's a problem. Because this is not how it's supposed to be. Somebody fiddled with the script. I've read this book. And somebody has rewrote it. This is like a revised edition. This is not the first edition. And we got a problem. The scribes done screwed us all. And right now, I mean, people think they have freedom. There is no such thing. You don't even control your own thoughts. If you watch television, read newspapers, any of it, then your thoughts are being manipulated. It's like me. When I do a chart, I don't want to know you. I don't want to know anything about you. I don't even want to know if you're male or female. Don't tell me anything about yourself, because it influences me, and I'm aware of it. I'm aware that I will do a chart differently if you're sitting in front of me than if it's just me in the chart. If it's just me in the chart, I'm going to be so freaking real. But I already know if you're sitting next to me, I'm going to try to not hurt your feelings. And there it goes. There's the manipulation. Get that emotion involved. Oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm going to choose different words to say this than I normally would. Just being blunt, cold, and honest as it can be. So I prefer to do the charts, and then you can have question and answer time. But then you get a pure chart. It's just me and the stars. All I got's a date to look at. I'm going to tell you exactly what it says. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to give you the duality of it. But it's still your choice of how you respond or react. Whether you respond or react. Remember, to respond is you have to have responsibility, the ability to respond. Otherwise, you simply react in this duality. What you need to do is move away from responding and reacting to observing, to get on that third pillar. That should be your anchor. You should, instead of being backstage or on the stage, you need to be in the audience. You need to be taking notes. You need to be learning. You need to be becoming self-aware of what part do you play. What is your role? What should you be doing? And to me, your cross and your natal chart gives you all of that. It's all written in the stars. We're all up there. Everybody's script is up there. But we've all been double-crossed, which means we've been given a different script. And which script are you going to follow? Well, it's becoming very, very clear to me. We need to be following our higher self. We need to be on that middle pillar. We need to be the observer above everything else, first and foremost. When you activate that crown chakra, the thalamus, everything goes through the thalamus. When you activate that, all the other chakras get in line. And then they're all good. They all pick the light side of duality. There is no retrograde. They're all spinning correctly at the right speed for your health and well-being. But this age, being ruled over by that masculine axis of the cardinal cross on top of the mutable cross, it's anything but. The symbol for retrograde is on all your prescriptions. It's telling you that it's going to make your chakras spin backwards, and that makes you sick. Why would you want that? Your subconscious knows what that symbol is, but you don't, because you're still asleep. People think they're awake. You're not awake unless you recognize the symbols. To me, that's when you're awake. When you start seeing it everywhere. And not only you see it, but you know what it means. And you know how to fix it. Turn the symbol around. Or superimpose a more powerful symbol over it. Or put the disempower symbol over it. The circle with the slash. Exit out. You got to fight symbols. You fight fire with fire. You fight symbols with symbols. Words with words. And this is about symbolism. It's about imagery, logos, brands, marks. All right. 3/4 of the year finished as of tomorrow morning. And then we only have 1/4 or 3 months left. We're gonna go through earth, air, and water. And we'll begin the year in fire. I'm going to say that again, immutable fire. We're going to begin next year at a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. And the year, the sun, let's go ahead and put him there, in mutable fire. We can even take him to January the 1st. In mutable fire. We're going to begin the year in mutable fire, which is the lake of fire. And looky, let's do this in the Arabic. I love to do this in the Oriental Western. They call it Arabic, but truly, this is so Oriental. You can see the images. I mean, they might have turbans, but they all have that Asian appearance to their face, not what we think of when we think Middle Eastern or Persian, but indeed that's what they are. Check them out. Let's pull them back together in that conjunction right there, right on the head of the goat. And we begin the solstice for the winter with a Mercury-Sun conjunction, a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, and Mars coming out of retrograde in Pisces still. And we've done this before. This makes the symbol, these two stars with these two stars. The sun is your ring finger, Mercury is your pinky finger, Saturn is your middle finger, Jupiter is your index finger, and Mars is your thumb. Let's go ahead and see if we can pull the sun in on that day. Nope, the sun won't make it that day. But that's the live long and prosper sign from Mr. Spock. But that's also, you do two of those with both hands and pull them together with the triangle. And that's what the rabbi does when he brings out the Torah. He makes that symbolism of live long and prosper here with your fingers. So it's a good sign, but it's going to be hard for a lot of people because you're not prepared. Especially for those that don't like to take orders. Oh, you're done. Because Saturn's all about orders. You're going to have to be able to give them and take them. And most people who give orders are unable to take orders. And bad day, law of equivalent exchange, will not be happy with you. You will reap what you sow. You sow in love, you will reap in love. You sow in anger, hate, any of that, and that's what you're going to get. I found, and I'm telling you from experience, it's been, well, last year, really, it really manifested in my life that I started being grateful. Every day I would wake up and I would be grateful for the most minute things. Just grateful that I had water, running water, warm water to take a bath, and a roof over my head. And I didn't have a lot, but I was so grateful for every little thing that I had. Because I've been without before, and I know what that's like, and I was very grateful for it, and sincere from my heart, and my life began to change. The world became much brighter, the colors became more vivid, and I realized that the world had not changed at all. It was still dark and ugly as it always was, but that I had changed. And that I chose to see it in a different way. If you look at the gloom and doom, that's what you're going to manifest. But if you, I don't want to use the word hope, because that word is so attached to Jupiter, and hope, you always get disappointed. There's this flavor of disappointment attached to that word. Like it's a false hope. There's no foundation under it. There's nothing there. It's just hope. And how many times have you hoped in your life for something and it just, no, that's because it's like belief. The word belief is the same way. Be lie, L-I-E, be lie. It's if, be lie, if. It's just There's something wrong with it. There's doubt in it. I even hate using the word pray. If you ask amiss, if you ask having doubt, you're not going to get it. Gospel of John, I think chapter 5 or 6. If you ask doubting, then forget it. You have to know. That's why I don't like faith, belief, hope, because it's all just dust in the wind. You need to know. You better not take anybody's word for it, not even mine. You better go figure this out for yourself. I'm going to point you in the right direction, and I'm going to give you a lot of clues. But you better check everybody, and that includes me. All of us can be deceived. Nobody is exempt from that. The Bible tells us that this deception is going to be so convincing that if it were possible, even the very elect would be deceived. And there's a difference between the elect and the very elect. So there's going to be many of the elect that are deceived. I have taken the past few days when I'm laying down to rest. I've been in my new house without internet. So I rewatched Lodge 49, 1 and 2. Season 1 and Season 2. Binge watch them back to back. And every time I watch it, I see something new. And I learn a new message. I learn a new truth. And I'm shocked. I'm not shocked that they canceled Season 3. I know they've already filmed it. There's no doubt in my mind. The script's already been written. And I can pretty much tell you what it's going to be about. But there are negotiations out trying to get it somewhere else. Why AMC is not backing it, I guess they've gone woke. Or number two, they were just revealing way too much. And they really did. If you looked at those 2 seasons, just in the symbology and some of the coded wording they use, it's off the charts what they're telling us. And I also see in it, well, they talk about the True Lodge. They're telling you the story of those who self-initiate, like these fraternities in these universities, and you get tapped to go in, Yale Lodge 322. Those are artificial initiations. The True Lodge, you're born into that shit. Just like Dud on Lodge 49. His life is a disaster. He gets bit by the snake. His dad dies. His mom dies when he's a little boy. He gets bit by a shark. It's just he falls through a hole onto a dead guy. It's just incredibly one disaster after another. And I'm thinking, man, that's how my life is. And I realized, well, that's what they do to you in the artificial initiations. You got to go through the humiliation and all of that to be initiated. And then I thought back to when I opened my third eye as a child. And oh yeah, I was naturally initiated. That day that my third eye opened, I had peed on myself at school that day. I went to ask the teacher to go to the bathroom, and the little girl in front of me asked to go, and the teacher told her no. So I just went and sat down. I knew I was going to be told no too. So instead of rejection, I just went and held it for as long as I could. And I couldn't hold it anymore, and I peed on myself in school in 2nd grade. Just started in that school. Bunch of little rich kids, and I was already the funny dressed tomboy little girl off the farm. And that was it. I was humiliated beyond belief. And I even think about when I listen to some of the stories about those who have been in human traffic before and been sex workers and all of that, and what they do to the children. And they actually make them hold their pee. There's something about it that forcing them to do it as an artificial initiation, starting from that root chakra. Think about what I'm telling you here, that those of you who have had hard lives like I have, you're just being initiated by the world, not by man. You're being initiated by the universe, by nature herself, not by man, not by corporations, and not by fraternities. And it's not artificial. It's completely natural. You are the true lodge. I've been having the dream my whole life. They're trying to make this new world order. The new order is already here. We've been here. We're just waiting. Well, our time is coming. And it's going to be Lodge 1 of the new order. Just Lodge 1. And there will only be one lodge. There won't be all these chapters and this and that, and these divisions. And how does the Nag Hammadi say it? Yaldabaoth builds it. He builds monad upon monad, layer upon layer like an onion, so you can never get down to the core. It's not going to be that way. There's going to be one people, one lodge. And it's not going to matter if you're black, white, red, yellow, brown. It's not going to matter if you're male or female. It's not going to matter how old you are or what you believe. It's going to matter about what you do and what you say. And do you say what you do, and do you do what you say? Your words and your actions are going to have to coincide with each other. And these days, people say one thing and they do another. No more of that. We're fixing to get truly authentic lodge. And a lot of you are already on my channel. You've kind of known this. You've just been like me, waiting for the confirmation, waiting to be told something you've already known, probably since you were a small child. And I believe a lot of you that are here, you have very unique characteristics. I have done, when my channel first started growing, I started asking the questions. What are the common denominators? What is it we all have in common? And it was very unique things. Negative blood types, appendix removal, disastrous childhoods, above average intelligence, low body temperature, weird things. A lot of us grew up in that generation where our parents bronzed our shoes. What the hell was that about? Well, I know now. I know now why you get the bronze shoes. Or the penny loafers. All these rituals that were done to us, and they call us traditions or superstition. And it's rituals that were handed down to us, and they bind us. We're bound by these images. That's why I tell you to get them off your bodies, or at least mark them out, disempower them, something. You want to be pure, free of those, especially those images of the battle of fire and ice. You want to be free of fire and water. If you're going to have a symbolism, let it be those of heaven and earth. And I don't care if you are fire and water. That don't make you evil. That don't make you bad. Because Thalem over here is the one who gives himself for the whosoever. And it doesn't matter if you're sons of Adam or sons of Cain or sons of the living God or sons of Satan. Everybody eventually is going to recycle back through this place till you graduate. You don't have a choice. It's a life sentence. You will seek death and you will not find it. You must be, there it is again from Lodge 49. You have to be distilled to become the essence. They're telling you everything. And you can see in Lodge 49 the difference between the fake lodge. Even Planet Janet was doing her own alchemy and her fake corporatocracy. distillation. You are to become the essence. Yeah. I mean, she was drawn to the girl because she is the true Lodge. And that's why they're not showing us season 3. It's because Dud and his sister Elizabeth, Sean and Elizabeth Dudley, are the twins of Gemini. And it's really more about her than it is Dudley. Now, he's gotten bitten by the snake, and he got attacked by the shark. But it's her that has the intuition. She knew before he got bit that the shark was coming to get him. She just got her loan paid off, right? She went in there with this amount of money, and they let her out of the loan for just paying a fraction of it, less than 20%. And immediately her other half, her twin, her brother, paid the price for it. A blood ritual in the water when bitten by the shark. And it was the first time he had gotten back in the water since he got bitten by the snake. The symbolism is off the charts. It is incredible. But season 3 was supposed to be about Elizabeth and Connie and Claire, the 3 triune power symbol of the women. In the first 2 seasons, you had Ernie, the knight, and the squire, Dud, and then the sovereign protector, Larry. All in triune, the 3 working together. And that's what we were supposed to get. And they're not going to show it to us. Because right now, they're pushing, actually, it's toxic masculinity that they've masked as toxic femininity. But those aren't women. Well, I've told you to start with, there's no such thing as a woman. A woman is a magic circle man in a dress. If you're born with an X chromosome, you are a female, not a female, female. You spell that for you. Not the Phoenician way of spelling either. They give us the female, right? You're perfect. Your nature that creates itself. You're female. Not a female. A woman, this is magic circle man. And that's a dude in a dress. That is not a female. This here is 1.618. And this is 3.14159. Phi and pie in the sky. It's all there. Now I learned it from the language. Some people learn it from the numbers. Some people learn it from the alchemy itself. They're really great at chemistry and they just get it. Some people learn it from astrology. To me, the language came first. And the language helped me understand the common denominators between astrology and alchemy. And it was really just one thing. So everybody's got a piece of the truth. It's like a diamond, and we only see one facet. I have a lot of you, especially my new subs. I guess I need to say this ever so often. My channel is growing so fast. You come to me with these links and you want me to give you my opinion on other channels. I hate doing that. I really do. Because you can find truth in just about anything. Just like you can find the lies in just about anything. So I don't like condoning or condemning anybody's work. Unless it's just blatant ass wrong. And I'm still not going to go attack them and say, rah, 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 rah. I'm just not going to do that. That's not my job. That's the job of the Holy Spirit to convince those people. Just like I don't want to run out and wake a bunch of people up. I do not tag my videos. They're not monetized, so YouTube is not pushing them. I really didn't want my channel to even get this big. But at this point, I'm gaining about 500 subs a week. Just in the
in the past couple of months, my channel has doubled. And with that comes a lot of beginners, and we are on a very advanced level now. And you're asking the questions, you just need to go back and watch those videos. I leave the links for you below the videos. I've moved 11 Lavette 11 to Brighteon. That way, it's there for you free of charge. And you can just go watch those videos, and it'll help you lay a foundation for this knowledge. We start with planetary linguistics. We start in the language. And I'm going to give you the name of, and this was before Google scrubbed everything. Planetary linguistics is gone. The main page of that, they just ripped out and threw in a bunch of shit on there to cover it up. But I have it on video, those original web pages that I can't even drag out of archive now. So, and it gives you the names of all the planets in every tongue around the world. And just the names alone open up a whole new way of looking at religion and why they have these names and who they're actually talking about when they, like the words they use in the Bible. The word Zadok, meaning Jupiterians. The word Nibiru, meaning Jupiterians. The word Guru, meaning Jupiterian. The word Buddha, meaning Mercury. You need to know these things. They're part of you. And it's part of the Bible Babble. And once I understood the language, now I can pick up any book. Once I learned all that alchemical symbolism, I sat and read that trunk of books for years, and I didn't understand shit. I really didn't. The more I read, the more confused I became, but I did retain the information. And then when I learned astrology and had something to compare it to, then I understood it. Oh, now I know why this symbol means this. That makes perfect sense now. Oh, I know what mutable earth is. Oh, that's the miry clay. Same words, mutable, miry, earth and clay. Oh, it makes sense now. Most high of heaven. Oh, I get it, Libra. And cardinal air. Understood, that's the heart. The heart of a man. Masculine. It all makes sense now. And it can for you too. But you're going to have to start at the beginning. I've done your homework for you. All you got to do is go cheat. Just go copy it. Just go look at the answers I've already given you. And lay yourself a good strong foundation so that you can move forward in this information, or you're not going to understand it. And when I put out a video and I'm getting 100 questions from new subscribers that don't understand anything. What do you mean? Saturn's the bad guy. Oh gosh, just stop where you're at. You've picked up a college book. Let me take you back to the McGuffey's reader, and you need to see Dick and Jane see Spot run. You have to learn how to read first, because you've never learned to read. You've been programmed to follow instructions. We're not playing with a full deck. The tarot deck is more than 52 cards. And all we've been playing is 52 card pickup. You're going to have to go back and lay a sure foundation. To pull the sword from the stone, you must pull the words from the tones. It's as simple, it's like a reverse Pig Latin. They use acrostics, anagrams, and Pig Latin. And then they use what I call as the ox plows. In the ancient hieroglyphics, all languages are divided. When they divided the languages, like in Arabic and in Hebrew, they start on the right hand of the page and they read or write left. We start on the left and read to the right. But Etruscan is a language like hieroglyphics that you read from right to left, and it just snakes. It's one long stream. And you have to know to read as the ox plows, or it's not going to make any sense. You're going to understand every other sentence or every other line, because the next line is supposed to be read opposite of the first line, or as the ox plows. You don't pick up the plow. You just turn and keep going. It's like a big S back and forth, just grooving in the ground. And that's the middle language. That's where we need to be. We don't need to be on the left-hand pillar or the right-hand pillar. We need to be able to see it back and forth. We need to be able to write in both directions. They give us the double script, which is we have the masculine block letters, and then we have the feminine cursive letters. Don't you like the way they gave it the name? It's a curse. It's a curse built right into it, because it makes it a sigil. When you hook letters together, then you've made a sigil or a symbol or a mark. That's why you have to sign your name. It's the sign of nature. Nature's curvy. And this age, because it's mutable, and we have a masculine axis of the cardinal cross ruling where it should not be. That's what I call the abomination of desolation. It should not be there. What should not be there? I don't understand. What is she talking about? Same thing we've been talking about. The abomination that maketh desolate. Whoops. This line down the middle. It's all about destruction and chaos and death and blood and ritual and sacrifice. And that's that bar with the little flag on it, or the P as they like to do it, because it's cursed now. It's feminine now, so it's cursed. It's the abomination that maketh desolate, standing where it ought not. It ain't supposed to have any part in this age. How many of you have seen that? And they've so scribbled the script, it just makes me ill. I do, and I still use the word Jesus. Jesus is the son of Jupiter, not the son of Saturn at all. They definitely changed that script, because in the Arabic, it's not Jesus. That's a Greek word. And they done that at the Church of Nicaea. And they got it from the Arabic. And in the Arabic, his name is Thalem. Mouth of the fish, that's a Greek translation. But we wouldn't understand, they call it a Mayan calendar, but it's an Aztec calendar. And they're starting to prove that today. They're starting to admit it now, that it's not Mayan after all. But the Aztec calendar has Thalem in the middle with the fish tongue, the mouth of the fish. He has the mouth of a fish tongue. We wouldn't know that if the Greek didn't translate out this way. But the Arabic translates out to master, rabbi, teacher, Lord. The same words that were given when they spoke to him. They didn't call him Jesus. They called him master, Lord, rabbi, teacher. Oh, son of David. But that word Jesus, that comes from Theseus and Dionysus, the two twins, Gemini, sons of Jupiter, Sagittarius. And one kills the other, just like the Cain and Abel story. But they superimposed one over the other. And they scribbled the script. All right, I think I'm going to wrap this up now. It's pushing an hour, and most people don't make it this far in the videos. I probably should have said this at the beginning, because I know most people don't make it this far. You can look in the analytics and see what's the average of how long people actually watch the video. Got a new mailing address in the box below. The other mailbox is still viable, so it's good for another month. But I have removed it from all description boxes off of all of the videos, and I'll be adding this one, the new one, to all of the videos. But I'm going to go ahead and keep that box. It's not that far away,
And when I'm over that way, I'll stop and check on it until it expires, and then I'll turn my keys in. So don't worry about if you have sent anything there. I will get it. Oh, another announcement. Friday, I went over there to check the box, and it did have something in it. And I also had a slip, and I had to go to the counter, and 2 of the boxes that I sent overseas came back to me. Not my fault. I filled out the paper right for customs, and whatever the lady typed in, and they print out the little sticker and stick it on the box, she done it wrong. So they sent it back to me. So I'm having to repackage it, and thankfully they're not going to make me pay for it again. So they're just going to relabel it for me and ship it back out. But they destroyed the box, both of them, 2 of them. And I don't know what happened, because 4 boxes went out, but only 2 came back. And I don't know if that was because of which customs they went through, East Coast, West Coast kind of thing. Yeah, when they left the United States, but 1 of them wasn't accepted. 2 of them wasn't, but from the same customs office. So I got those back, and I'll get them back out in the mail. Well, I'm busy. I have something to do tomorrow, so I'm going to try to get them in the mail Wednesday or Thursday. Probably Thursday, because very few post offices are open here on Wednesday, and if they are, it's usually only half a day. And I'm going to stand in there for a while. So big old batch going out. I'm getting caught up, but hold on. Don't ask for any more yet. I'll give you the go signal. It's real easy for me to do them U.S. I can do them all day long, but I've got anchors in the UK, Australia, and different countries around the world, and they're getting a big batch. So we're going to network this thing and play it like a chain letter, so that when you get one, you're going to get some blank ones. My problem is, 1, I've been real busy moving, and I don't have time to stand at the computer and transfer the files. And each drive is taking about 2 hours to transfer 1 drive. And I can only do so many a day. So I'm averaging getting out somewhere between 50 to 70 a week when there are hundreds of requests. And they're not in any particular order. I've grouped them up into countries: US, UK, Australia, Africa, and that kind of thing. So hang in there. If you ask for one, you're going to get it. Another thing is, I had one person come back and tell me that they got their package, but there was no flash drive in it. And I'm like, what? That don't even make sense, because I'm real careful about packing them, but I pay for them by weight. And when I mail out that group, they're all the same. When they're in the U.S., they're all the same. They're all the same weight. They all cost the same amount. And I didn't have one that cost less than the others. So I don't even know how to wrap my mind around that. It's like, I actually believe somebody opened it up. How could the bubble wrap be in there and not the drive? Because I wrap the drive in the bubble wrap and then put it in there. So I don't know what happened, but I'm reissuing that one. It's not a problem. You will still get one. So if you've got one with bubble wrap and no drive, please just let me know and we'll get you another one out. But hang on. I'm going to tell it to you this way. You're going to get it exactly when you're supposed to, just like everything else. The way Saturn works, you want it now. But no, the Holy Spirit comes to you in that self-same hour with what you need, and not a minute before. And I've learned to trust that. That's what you learn from standing on that middle pillar and observing. And that's what you need to be doing. And another thing I've learned too is that people that talk a lot, they don't hear, and they can't learn because they can't hear. Learning comes from hearing, not by talking. And that's the same. I'll get comments that are or emails that are just pages long. Like I've got 2 or 3 hours to sit there and read that, when I've got 300 or 400 emails to go through and another 300 or 400 comments. There's only one of me. Please take that into consideration. Hopefully I'll have some help soon, or at least something, and I can try to get caught up.
I can't even imagine what life would be like if I got ahead. I'm always behind the times. All right, people, I love y'all bunches. You know what to do. You need to bank the karma. Oh, another thing. Yeah. You know how hard it is to move when you got a house full of furniture? I thought it would be easy to move with nothing. Well, I don't have anything to move, so that's going to make that easy. Oh, no. It's much harder when you don't have anything to move, because you've got to go find everything. And I'm poor and on the reservation. I can't go buy new shit, so I'm having to do the yard sales and the thrift stores and that kind of thing. And still, that's the poor buying from the poor. The selection is not like being in Las Vegas, right? You can't go buy new used stuff here. It just don't exist. So it's been a lot harder. And I'm still on the airbed. I got my bathroom together. Getting clean and a place to sleep was the most important. But I still haven't found a fridge or a stove or any of that. I bought an air conditioner and got ripped off. Bought used. The guy didn't want to give my money back. Didn't work at all. So I went out and got me another one. And now after I fought all week, I still can't get it in the window. So I've bit off a little bit more than I can chew. But I'm getting there. And I'm grateful. Oh, I'm so happy about where I'm at. Kelly's thrilled to death. She was a little unnerved the first couple of days. It's so empty and it echoes, and the click, click, click of her nails on the wooden floor, but she's fell in love with the backyard. And yeah, she's happy. You can just see it in her countenance. Once we first got in and she realized, okay, we're going to be here, right? When I set my keys down and set my purse down and we stayed the night, she fell asleep, and I ain't never seen her sleep that long. It's like she was relieved. She's finally home. She felt safe. And she slept and slept and snored. I was almost worried about her. Never seen her sleep that long. So I'm very happy. That's all I've ever wanted anyway, was just, I need her to be comfortable. And I've drug her halfway across the United States and back, lived in apartments, and it's just been awful for her. And now she has her own space and her own freedom, and she's just as happy as she can be. Let's bring us back to now. I'm just getting my internet on. No, that's been a nightmare too. And I mean complete nightmare. I literally had to send the link. They made me give them a copy of my lease, rent receipts, all of that. And I still had to send a link, check this out, to the CEO of the company to prove when I rented the house and done the walkthrough. I had to send in the link. I couldn't get it turned on. Somehow or another, I think they were insisting that I knew the people that lived here. They still had service here, and I don't know, not trying to pay their bill. I don't know what they thought. But I sure had to prove I lived here 50 different ways to sundown. And it was just a nightmare. So finally got that done today. And I'm very grateful for that too. I thought after going through all of that, when he finally turns it on, and the router starts popping up all the other, looking for all the other signals around here. Yeah, everybody around me's got AT&T. And AT&T told me they wouldn't hook me up here. When my neighbor across the street and one on either side of me is all running AT&T. And they lied to me, or just screwed up. My house actually has 2 different addresses. And so it's made it difficult getting all the utilities on. The city changed everything. So everybody's got 2 addresses, whatever that means. Something Google did. Google Earth had something to do with it. Still don't understand it, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm just happy to be here, and I feel like I'm in a good place. Finally. Finally. I love you all. Go bank your karma, and buckle up and get ready. This ride's
just going to get crazier.